Good afternoon, America. This is Dr. Churi again from the Arizona with another interesting video. All right, now it's more of a warning than anything else that I felt. And as you know, I got to put it to the public. So let's hope I'm wrong. The title is SOS to the World Window, Deadly Window, and that is for September the 28th, a little bit before, a little bit after, you know how a window works. Again, the newsletter is quite intense and educational, so as always, please take the time to read it and even come back, because I always update my newsletters with my vision as they transpired. Today, first of all, let's talk about what I foresee. Mercury is retrograde. I don't know how many of you knows what Mercury is retrograde, but at the bottom of the newsletter that I wrote, there is a link where you can read everything. But let me repeat myself. Why not? Only repetition works sometimes for some people. So 3 times a year, imagine a train, okay? It's going this way. And 3 times a year, God says, okay, to the driver, slow down, stop, put it in reverse and go back. All right. Why is that? Because we are living such a crazy life. We are busy. We don't have time to investigate or to analyze ourselves. We are moving on. We have to pay our bills, got to work, okay? And we are missing the boat, the train. So when Mercury is retrograde, it's an opportunity for you to go back into the past. This is why people you haven't seen for a long time will come back into your life. This is why, as Mercury rules every moving part, you may have a bit of a problem with your washer, dryer, your car, your tire. Mercury wants to stop you. You might get a cop to give you a ticket because you're speeding. You might have a flat tire. I mean, the options are endless. In fact, my own electric top just broke. Don't ask me. It just broke. So we're getting a new top, okay? We have to cook. I want Taranya to be happy. I don't want her to, put a fire by the pool to cook my dinner. Not only this, but my pool, the motor of my pool got so dirty that the water flow stopped. That messed up my pool. And so in the middle of the day, I had to fix it. So pretty hot, I was sweating like a pig. And I took some pictures of the parts that was messed up. So again, it's in the newsletter. You can watch it at the pictures of what the Mercury retrograde is all about. So let me tell you a little story. I mean, again, I may sound redundant for some of you who have been following me for years, but to the newcomers, let me tell you something. When I decided to get married in Las Vegas, I signed a ticket to my family, and I told them, don't change anything, okay? Don't change anything. You must come on that day to my wedding. Why do we? Well, you'll find out why. Just come on that day. I was trying to stay away from Mercury retrograde, and I was very, very close. So they all flew to Phoenix from France, and the morning they arrived, I don't know how many of you are aware of that, but the Icelandic volcano erupted the morning they arrived, which means my family, unlike millions of non-cosmic conscious people out there, didn't have to cry, waste time, waste money, get stuck in airport for God knows how long. And that's the beauty of being cosmic conscious. And then they stayed a full month. By the time the volcano came down and everything was okay, they went back home. That is what Mercury retrograde does. He wants to stop you. Imagine if everything that we own never, break down. But all the people who makes all the machinery, all these computers and all this stuff, they'll be out of work. So there is a reason. Mercury retrograde means also you're going to become more susceptible to my information, because it's more an inward type of energy. You may become more spiritual, more introvert. You'll be able to analyze and appreciate or even investigate my work better when Mercury is retrograde. So Mercury retrograde also means, especially with my SOS to the world deadly window, beginning or ending of important phases of life and produce horrific, horrible weather. Okay, so it means also all the affairs of the past will come back. School shooters, peril hearing today brings up scars from 25 years ago. The Queen Farmer's Chief reveals dishes she sent back. I mean, affairs of the past. You could, and as far as the weather is concerned, Hurricane Fiona makes landfall at the National Weather Service warn for catastrophic flooding, things that we have never ever experienced before. And then I don't know how many of you remember Hurricane Mary 5 years ago, the same thing, but nothing like now because the weather is kind of changing. Have you noticed that? All right. So all I can tell you, my good friend, is to pay attention to my informations. Okay. I also wrote about England. I don't know how many of you knows, but I spent 12 years in England. This is where I was at the Royal School of Music, where I've learned to play piano. I worked 3 jobs and I could not even afford a bicycle. I mean, all the people that were around me, all they did is drink, and smoke pot and get depressed. Many of them committed suicide. I know, I spent 12 years in this country. England is one of the most deplorable, poorest country in the world, in case you do not know. Yet, you have the royal that are spending billions and billions of dollars, not only with all the respect I own for the Queen, on her death and the burial, okay? But again, the British have been so indoctrinated for centuries. And again, this is why it becomes critical for you now. If you don't agree with me, and I know many of you won't because you love your Queen, what's wrong with that? Nothing. God makes sure that she goes in paradise because she deserves it, and rest in peace. So that's, but the fact is the fact. You need to read what I wrote, and I cannot express myself. I express myself better when I write. That's why it's critical for you, if you don't agree with me, to read what I wrote. And it will make sense if you keep an open mind, of course. I mean, imagine those billions of dollars, how much they could help all the destitute young generation in England. You never see the sun in England. Okay, it rains all the time. When I was working as a manager in the bar, I had to close the bar at 10 o'clock because people will stay all night long drinking because they have no life. It's depressing. It's a Capricorn country. Capricorn is ruled by Saturn, the great malefic. Saturn is the engineer, but Saturn rules power, the royal, the snob, the rich, the corporation, the politically oriented church, the Vatican, anything and everything involving the head of the devil, the sign of Capricorn, chosen by the Christian, rules the country. And Saturn is a very gloomy planet, which is affecting not only the weather, but also all the people that lives in England. And that's why they build those ships and went all over the world, okay? Maybe to seek the better life, more sunshine, and of course, all the diamond that was stolen from the African nation as they also raped India. I mean, we all know what's going on with the imperialism of the British. But I have to tell you, the best years of my life were spent in England, not because of the good weather, or the drugs, because I don't drink and I don't do drugs, never did, never will. I remember when I was in the recording studio with all my students, first of all, I had to work 3 jobs so I could pay for my study and all my musicians, right? Every one of these guys, as far as I can remember, was smoking pot or doing acid during those days. God knows what. I've lost so many friends because of drugs and suicide. all in England. Yet I had the most beautiful days of my life because I was young and I was wild, and my French accent make it easy for me to connect with a lot of people from all age and all groups. So when you look at it, I only have great memories from England, but it doesn't take away the fact that these people are miserable out there because of Saturn. It is not me talking to you. It is, don't get me wrong, but it's the channeling from Draco that explain the great malefic Saturn, the builder, the engineer, the head of the devil, anything that involves structure, power, the privileged select, the royal, or the corporation, the Church of England. And again, you know why the Church of England is pushing. I mean, they are getting right now an incredible free advertisement all over the world. You need to understand that the Church of England were pushing religion because their masters or the royal didn't want the destitute subject to be jealous and to kill them. So the 10 Commandments, again, manipulation, deception, the age of Pisces. So you need to realize also the billions, millions of dollars that are being wasted by entertaining only the rich and famous, and all the travel that you and I could never, ever in a million years afford. Forget about the British slaves out there, okay? So when you look at all these, the entertainment, the British have been indoctrinated but with entertainment, like watching all of the 8 of the Queen's grandchildren stand vigil, or King Charles and Queen Consort Camilla are deeply touched by support after the death of Queen Elizabeth, or Prince Harry distraught over a noticeable difference from brother's uniform, or Queen Elizabeth's state funeral should have no cost to spare, a royal historian says. Don't you think for a second that the British population, the subject, the slaves, okay, would benefit more? Don't you think it'd be great if all those royals decide to give a few $1 million of their fortune that they will never, ever in a million years in their lifetime and the lifetime of all their children forever will be able to spend? Don't you think it'd be greatly appreciated by the British to have so much fortune given to them, knowing that these very wealthy people don't pay taxes? Again, do you think that's normal? The age of Aquarius, unification, universal reality, universal truth, anything to do with oneness, okay? That's unlike this king and queen and royal business. That's why I made a prediction that when the age of Aquarius move on deeper into its own solidity and reality, the royal will be a story of the past. But we are not there yet. We are in the process. And again, do not kill the messengers. It's not that I don't like the British. God knows I love the British, and I had, I repeat myself, the most fantastic time in my life in those little islands, okay? But I did not know what I know today. Don't kill the messengers, trying to make you aware of what's going on. If you agree, amen. You vibrate at my cosmic speed, you understand me, you've been following me for a while, I have nothing to prove to you. If you're a newcomer, read the newsletter, click on the link and find out that Dr. Cherry is speaking the truth. Pay attention again, my friend, okay? The reptilians likes, they really love congested area. They like large gathering, and they could stimulate the mind of a terrorist or a lost crazy soul to kill. I hope my vision will not come to pass. However, if we manage, with the grace of God, to avoid those reptilians killing a bunch of British people out there during the Queen burial, I just want you to know that there is another date that I gave you, okay? That is the 28th. And you will see who is right when it comes to my SOS to the World Deadly Protonic Window. And I will be there to refresh the memory of all the young souls, all the immature people who believe that astrology is a pseudoscience. Until then, my good friend, I hope you enjoyed this video one more time. Don't forget to visit my Facebook page. Yesterday, we were at the lake. We made a bunch of pictures, made some nice video. We are alive. We are happy. We enjoy life. And then I enjoy it too. That's what we do. We share everything. Okay, make it a beautiful life. Be careful under 28 and warn everybody else, especially if you know somebody that is working for the police. Until then, God bless all of you. Bye-bye.